What if I told you I took $300 and split it across 3 of the cheapest stocks I could find, and the results were nothing like I expected? Some people say cheap stocks are a fool's game. Others say they're hidden gold mines just waiting to be discovered. But what actually happens when a regular person buys 3 cheap stocks and holds on for the ride? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm pulling back the curtain on exactly what happened when I bought 3 cheap stocks. The good, the bad, and the ugly. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why price alone means absolutely nothing in investing. Let's get into it. So before I tell you which stocks I bought, let me explain the mindset that got me here. I had been investing for about a year. I had a few index funds, a couple of blue chip stocks, and honestly, I was bored. The slow and steady approach is great, but there's a part of every investor who wonders, what if I just swung for the fences? That's when I started looking at cheap stocks. And I mean cheap. We're talking stocks trading under $5 a share. The appeal is obvious, right? For $100, you can own hundreds of shares of a company. It feels like you're getting a deal. It feels like you're buying low and riding the wave up. But here's the thing. Cheap doesn't mean undervalued, and that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. I set a simple rule for myself. I would invest $100 each into 3 different stocks. All 3 had to be trading under $5 per share. I gave myself 2 weeks to research, and then I committed. Here's what happened. Stock number 1, the penny stock disaster. The first stock I picked was a small biotech company. I'm not going to name names, but this company was trading at around 82 cents per share. With $100, I picked up about 120 shares. The company had a drug in phase 2 clinical trials, and the buzz online was absolutely electric. Forums were lighting up. Reddit threads were going crazy. People were saying this was the next big thing. The stock had already jumped 40% in the previous month, and everyone seemed convinced it was going up another 500% once the trial results came in. I did some research, or at least I thought I did. I read the company's press releases, I looked at their pipeline, and I convinced myself this was a smart, calculated bet. So I bought in at 82 cents. For about 2 weeks, things looked good. The stock climbed to $1.15. I was up almost 40%. I was watching it every hour. I told my friend about it. I was feeling like a genius. And then the trial results came in. The drug failed phase 2. Within 24 hours, the stock dropped to 14 cents. My $100 investment was worth about $17. I had lost $83 almost overnight. I held for another month hoping for a recovery, but it never came. I eventually sold for $12. Total loss $88 out of 100. Lesson number 1. Hype is not a thesis. Just because something is popular on the internet does not mean it's a good investment. Speculative stocks like this are essentially lottery tickets. And like lottery tickets, most of them lose. But okay, let's talk about stock number 2 because this one went very differently. Stock number 2, the hidden gem. While I was doing my research, I stumbled across a small regional bank that was trading at around $3.40 per share. Now, I know what you're thinking. A bank? How boring. But stick with me. This bank was based in the southeastern United States. It had been around for over 40 years. It was profitable, it paid a small dividend, and it had been quietly growing its loan book and deposit base every single year for the past decade. The reason the stock was cheap wasn't because the company was bad. It was cheap because nobody was paying attention to it. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't trending on social media. It was just a boring, well-run small bank doing its thing. I invested $100 and got about 29 shares at $3.40 each. Now, nothing exciting happened right away. In the first month, the stock barely moved. I almost forgot I owned it. But then, quietly, steadily, it started climbing. Over the next 6 months, it went from $3.40 to $4.90. That's a 44% gain. Not in a week, not in a day. Over 6 months of just holding and waiting. I also collected 2 dividend payments during that time. Small, but they added up. By the time I sold, my $100 investment had turned into about $147, including dividends. Total gain, $47 on a $100 investment. Lesson number 2. The best cheap stocks are the ones nobody's talking about. When a stock is cheap because the company is boring and under the radar, not because it's broken, that's where you might actually find value. Now let's talk about stock number 3. This one is the most interesting story of all. Stock number 3, the slow burn. The third stock I bought was a small utility company. Utilities are known for being some of the most boring, reliable businesses in the world. People need electricity and water no matter what the economy is doing. This particular company was trading at about $4.60 per share and had been paying a steady quarterly dividend for years. My $100 got me about 21 shares. Now I want to be honest with you. Over the time period I held this stock, it didn't go anywhere exciting. It went up, it went down, it went up a little more. The total share price appreciation over about 8 months was around 12%, which honestly sounds unimpressive. But here's where it gets interesting. The dividend yield on this stock was nearly 6% annually. That means just from dividends alone, I was earning money every single quarter. The dividends got automatically reinvested into more shares, and those shares earned more dividends. It's a compounding cycle that over time adds up to something significant. By the time I sold, my $100 investment was worth about $119 from price appreciation alone, but with dividends reinvested, the total value was closer to $126. Total gain, $26 on 100. Now that might not sound as impressive as the bank stock, but here's the key difference. The utility stock was almost entirely predictable. I knew going in that it would be slow and steady. There were no surprises, no nail biting, no watching it every hour. I just owned it and let it do its thing. Lesson number 3. Boring is beautiful. High dividend utility stocks won't make you rich overnight, but they provide consistent, predictable returns with very low drama. Sometimes that's exactly what you want. All right, let's take stock of everything, pun absolutely intended. I started with $300 split evenly across 3 cheap stocks. Stock 1, the penny biotech, I lost $88. Stock 2, the regional bank, I gained $47. Stock 3, the utility company, I gained $26. Net result across all 3, I started with $300 and ended with $285, a net loss of $15. Now some people would look at that and call it a failure, but honestly, I think the $15 I lost was the best financial education money could buy. Because here's what I actually learned from this entire experiment. First, cheap price does not equal cheap value. A stock trading at 80 cents can be wildly overpriced if the underlying company has no real business. And a stock trading at $5 can be a genuine bargain if the company is solid and growing. Second, you need a real thesis for every investment. Not people on Reddit are excited, an actual reason grounded in the company's fundamentals, competitive position, and valuation. Third, boring companies are underrated. The bank and the utility performed. The speculative biotech did not. The pattern holds up more often than people think. Fourth, position sizing matters. If I had put all $300 into the biotech, I would have lost over $260. Instead, because I spread my risk, the losses from one bad pick were partially offset by 2 decent picks. If I could go back and do this experiment again, would I change anything? Honestly, yes. I wouldn't have bought the biotech stock. The warning signs were all there. The hype without substance, the reliance on a single clinical trial, the lack of any real revenue. But I don't regret doing the experiment. It gave me real, lived experience that no YouTube video or book could have given me. And now I'm sharing it with you so you can learn from my mistakes without having to make them yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow more than you might realize. And if you want to see more videos about real investing experiments, strategies, and honest breakdowns, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm going to be dropping a video next week about what happened when I put $100 into each of 5 dividend ETFs for an entire year, and the results there are going to surprise you. As always, nothing in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Talk to a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Every person's situation is different. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.